Hello everyone, my name is Jake and I am going to be walking us through the network services room on TryHackMe.com. Up first is get connected. If you don't know how to get connected to the TryHackMe servers, you can either go through OpenVPN or you can use the web-based Kali Linux if you pay the monthly fee, or AttackBox, which is free. Both work great. Pick your own, whatever you prefer. I'm going to be using my locally hosted Kali Linux VM for this room, but you're welcome to do what's more comfortable for you. So no correct answer here, or no answer needed I should say, so just click submit, and then on to understanding SMB. SMB is Server Message Block Protocol. This little info walks you through kind of what it is, what it does. All of the information for these questions can be found in the text above. For instance, what does SMB stand for? Server Message Block. Then we've got what type of protocol is SMB. SMB protocol is known as a response request protocol. After that, we've got what do clients connect to servers using. Clients connect to servers using TCP IP. And then it's got a little actually here for NetBIOS, which comes in handy to keep in your back pocket for later. What systems does Samba run on? Samba, an open source server that supports the SMB protocol, was released for Unix systems. Alright, enumerating SMB. You're going to click Start Machine here. As you can see, I've already got mine running. Make sure you give it at least a few minutes to boot up, otherwise it won't respond to any of the requests you're sending because it's not started up yet, and then you can get frustrated, and it helps to take a few minutes to let it boot up. It's going to walk you through enumeration, which is basically just gathering more information. Another little bit on SMB, some bit on port scanning. If you haven't run through the Nmap room yet, I also recommend running through the Nmap room here at this link. It is very helpful. It gets you a lot of good knowledge on what the different options are for Nmap, some of which will come in handy here. After that, it talks a little about Enum for Linux, which is a special tool for enumerating SMB shares. It's great. We're going to be using it here. As they say, it already comes on Parrot and Kali. You can figure out how to install it if you don't already have it. Some syntax options here, something to keep in mind for the Enum for Linux tool. This right here is actually going to need to be a lowercase a. The uppercase a doesn't work. Alright, so let's get started. First we're going to do an Nmap scan. Nmap scans, for me, on this particular one, I would like to do an Nmap-A, then -PN, because this one is not going to respond to ping requests. So that -PN makes Nmap treat it like the host is up no matter what, because normally if it doesn't get a ping response, it just assumes the host is down. So this one, since it doesn't respond to ping, we're going to do that -PN. And then the address of yours, which is 10, for me at least, is 10.80.112. Or sorry, 211. And then you're going to run your Nmap scan. For mine, it took about a minute to run, a little bit under. So to save us some time, as you can see here, I sent the output to a text file. So we're going to look at that. So you start up Nmap. You'll see that port 22 is open for SSH. You'll see that 139 is open, which is the NetBIOS part of this, and then 445, which also says NetBIOS, but is part of Microsoft Data Services. And it takes generally both of these to run SMB. Now this is the -A part of our Nmap scan. For here we've got some things like, we know it's the computer's name from its NetBIOS name, we know the operating system version, there's another computer name, and that actually answers some of these other questions for us. So the first one, how many ports are open? We've got 22, 139, 445, that's 3 ports. What port is SMB running on? Sorry, what ports are SMB running on? 139/445. Now here we're going to get it started with Enum for Linux. However, we can answer some of these questions already. The name of the machine is listed right here, Polo SMB. And the operating system version is right here. We're at Windows 6.1. So now that we've got those done, we can jump into our enum for Linux command. So enum for Linux, we're going to be doing the -a. Again, remember it has to be lowercase and then the IP address of your system. And it's going to run through. When it's doing, I'm pretty sure these last two can take a long time. So we're not going to need all of this to answer the questions. If you do want to let it run through and just see what comes up, good for you. Learn everything you can. If not, we'll get to a point where we'll just break the program and move on. So, full basic scan of enumeration. What is the work group name? For work group name, we're going to find that under getting domain. Domain name, work group. Oh, yeah, Control C. I always forget about Control Shift C to copy. Work group, there we go. And what share sticks out as something we might want to investigate. So now, again, I broke the program a little bit earlier than I was expecting to, but we still got the information we needed here. Right here under share enumeration, we've got all of the shares. There's net logon, profiles, print, and IPC. So which one stands out that could have information we want? I would say profiles is the one we're looking to do. And the room agrees with me. All right, moving on to task 4, exploiting SMB. Starts with a little bit about it. Got a CVE up here you can read through if you want. More about SMB. The syntax for using SMB client, which is the tool we're going to be using to access these profiles here. Or sorry, these shares here, which is named profiles. Then you've got IP, the share, minus capital U for the user, minus lowercase p for the port. Up first, what would be the correct syntax for this one? We would be SMB client. Secret is the share. User is suit. So it would be SMB client space // and then it's 10.10.10.2 / the share is secret, the user is suit, and the port is going to be 445. There we go. And we've got the hang of the syntax. We're going to move on. Click complete. Now we're going to try to connect to the profile share with the username anonymous, and we're going to see if we can get through without supplying a password. So what we're going to do, SMB client / 10.10.80.211 / profiles, capital U, anonymous, lowercase p, 445. Now for this, it's going to ask you for a password. Since we're not giving it one, we're just going to hit enter. And look at that, we've got our SMB prompt. That means we're in. If you want to know what commands you can use while working through SMB client, you can type help and it'll give you a full list. One of the ones that I would think to use but isn't here is cat. So something to pay attention to. If you wanted to put something on the screen, you're probably going to be using more. All right, so did we get anonymous access? Yes, we did. See any interesting documents? So for that, we're going to use ls to see what's here. And a bunch of system stuff, as well as a text file. So let's take a look at that text file, keeping in mind that Linux does not like spaces in file names. So we have to put it inside quotes if we want it to work. And there we go. John Cactus. I think we just got ourselves some information about a username. As you're well aware, we went remote. You now have SSH access. So that's good to know. To get out of this, we're going to hit Q. So, for who does this belong to? John Cactus. What service has been configured? SSH. What should we look in? So if we're looking at what's in this folder, and we're trying to find information about SSH, I would bet .ssh has the information we're looking for. So we're going to cd into .ssh, not SSD. We're not looking at that hard drive. Then we're going to ls again to see what's here. We've got id_rsa, id_rsa.pub are the two ones we're going to be looking at here. So .ssh for that question. Contains authentication keys. Which of these keys is most useful for us? The most useful for us is id_rsa. That is the default key file for SSH keys. So we're going to download it. If you go back through your commands to see how we could do that, we're going to use git. Git id_rsa, which is going to download it. Now we can exit out of this SMB client for now and take a look at that file. It should be right in this folder, id_rsa. There we go. We can cat that out. No? All right, ID. There we go. So you can see we've got begin RSA private key, end RSA private key, and the key itself. Now to use this, we're going to have to change the permissions to 600. So we're going to do change mod 600 id_rsa. Now from here, we can log on. But for me, when I was working through this the first time, I assumed that the username would be j.cactus or jcactus or something of that nature for the username, but I was incorrect. So we're going to take a look back at this share to see if there's anything for us to see. So we're going to cd into SSH, and now we're going to look at this .pub right here. So more id_rsa.pub, and here we have his actual username, just cactus. And that's going to make this next one a lot easier, because if you enter in the wrong username, it doesn't tell you you have the wrong username. So we are going to SSH. We have a file, so we're going to do -i, and then our key that we've already changed the permissions for, and then the username, cactus, and the IP address of the server we're trying to access. And there we go. We're now logged in as cactus at the computer. So to see what's here, we can ls smb.text is going to be your flag. To get that onto the screen, you can use cat, because you can see this is a Linux system, cat smb.txt, and that will get you your flag. For now, I'm going to be following the rules that TryHackMe wants for write-ups, where you don't show passwords or flags. I may change my mind for future videos, who knows, but right now, that's what it is. cat.smb.text gets you your flag. Congratulations, and I'll see you in the next one.